Hello, my name is AJ. I'm your hypoxia coach for today, and we have level 2.5 chair teaser. This is a level 2 movement and a level 5 breathography, meaning we're adding in our 6-beat breath retentions at the conclusion of each of our exhalations, those engaged exhales, loosening our abdomen on soft shish and loud shish at the conclusion of that exhale to deepen that strength of our core, and then also when we perform our breath holds, we are strengthening our core at the end of our exhalation. There's a lot of ab muscles that turn on at an increased rate. I mean, it's actually an increased rate, but also just an increased amount when we perform that forced exhalation. So those muscles that we've turned on and we retain at the end of the breath, we're increasing the endurance, the stamina of those muscles that have turned on with that resisted exhale and also that end of breath retention. So it's one of the main reasons why we're performing the retentions in these core exercises, but also it's improving our relationship to carbon dioxide both in the exercise session and outside the exercise session, where we're improving our relationship to stress because of the changes in the receptors in the brain due to applying to integration of this carbon dioxide tolerance training. So many benefits. There's your pep talk for today's 3 breath cycles, 6-beat breath retentions. Let's begin. If you're working with a hypoxia coach and they've suggested a variation on this exercise, always follow that. That's there to optimize your program. Otherwise, let us begin. So squeeze that ball in between inner thighs. Now, this ball here, it's not only to engage your inner thighs and deepen the connection to the low core, but also it's tactile feedback. If you start to feel the ball move around too much as you go into the exercise, it could be that you've lost your pelvic stability. So especially in a remote virtual setting, like this is most likely, unless you're also working with a coach in person, using forms of tactile feedback like your ab ribbon, like the ball, sometimes the wall, the chair, is very powerful. So think about that. We're going to be lifting one leg up today. If you start to feel the ball move around, then check yourself and see what you can improve on to improve your pelvic stability. Okay, so here, start with the weight on the foot tripods, big toe, pinky heel, nice and settled. Knees are shooting a laser over the third toe. And then we're finding our neutral spine. So we're not tucked, we're not arched, overusing the low back. We're about halfway between the two. Now, if you're working with a coach, they can help deduce that for you because it is a bit individual, but usually it's approximately halfway between the two positions of the pelvis. So we don't want to feel our weight on our tailbone. You also want to make sure that the weight is equalized between the two sit bones. Many of us have more weight on one side or the other because of muscular imbalances. And again, tactile feedback here is the chair. The sit bones pressing down or your glutes pressing down into the chair. I know all of us have a varying ability to feel the sit bones. So just try to equalize the pressure between your two butt cheeks, ultimately. Okay, so neutral spine. Now here, this is as much a posture exercise as it is a core exercise. So interlace your fingers, non-dominant grip on top first, and then pull them apart with force so that if your fingers were slippery, they'd pull apart like that. Nice activation, shoulder mobility, and then you're providing your head with a little resistance. So you're going to press your head back into your hands. Hypoxia head stance is pressing back into the hands and using the hands to traction the head up off of the shoulders. You're creating height in the spine as you go through this exercise. Now we're going to lean back a touch, staying on those sit bones. So don't tuck back, don't arch forward. You want to mostly feel the abdominals, a little in the hip flexors. A little activation in the low back is okay, but there should be no pain and it shouldn't be overwhelming in the low back. And you should be able to loosen your ab ribbon on the soft shish and loud shish of the engaged exhale and then keep it loose on those 6-beat breath retentions. If you cannot, you either want to stay in the seated upright position, lowering the load on the abdominals, or you want to try to loosen your ab ribbon a little bit because sometimes in these isolated ab exercises, because of the natural increased circumference of the waist when we're performing abs, you may need to loosen it an inch or two just to feel the difference between loose and tight. So try this couple of things, otherwise stay in the seated upright position and follow all of my cues. Now here for today, we're going to lift our left leg. So lean back a little, stay in neutral, heighten the spine, lift the left leg without letting the pelvis rotate to the left. That's a common mistake. And also when you lift that leg, make sure that the weight stays equal between your sit bones. You may find that it goes more on the one or the other, right? And again, that's indicative of your pelvic stability. Now here's the position. We're just holding this position. Your eyes are going to be closed so you can deepen your connection between your ab ribbon and the abdomen. At first, you won't close your eyes because you're in the learning phase, but over time, you will close your eyes as you optimize your posture and your connection to your deep core in this exercise. Here we go. Lift the leg. Head back, neutral spine, heighten the spine, zip up, activation, inhale, hiss, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale 1, inhale 2, loosen the ribbon, you're holding 6, 5, keep it loose, 4, 3, head back, 2, 1, and inhale, inhale. Loosen the ribbon, you're holding 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and inhale. Feel the ribbon. Loosen the ribbon, you're holding 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and a 1. And you don't have to do as many repetitions when you breathe like that. More intentional with that abdominal strengthening. Now it's time to do it on the other side. So either rewind the video about 60 seconds so we can perform the exercise together, or you can try it on your own once you're skilled at the exercise. Just stay true to that tempo, frequency, intensity, and duration of each breathography breath cycle. You may want to put a metronome on your phone at 60 beats per minute just to have that guidance and staying nice and slow with that tempo of that long engaged exhale and those 6-beat breath retentions.